Hello, and welcome to another episode of Light Reading. As always, I'm your host, Light. The first manhwa for today is Doctor's Rebirth, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 152 on. The main character is Jin Chon-hui, a reincarnated person who was originally a doctor working overseas but was killed in a place stricken with civil war. As he gets himself reacclimated with his surroundings, he realizes that he has found himself in a world similar to Muram. In fact, he realizes that the world he is now reincarnated into is actually the Muram novel that he was reading during his previous life. With his knowledge, he uses the plot of the novel to prepare for his future while slowly seeing his decisions in this life stray from it. Its story is 9 out of 10. The butterfly effects that Chon-hui has on the world around him due to his actions are tales unto themselves. These differing events from the novel subvert Chon-hui's expectations and allow him to make peace that things will be different based on his choices, for good or for bad. The characters are 8 out of 10. The cast of characters surrounding Chon-hui are a colorful bunch. Both his enemies and allies promote growth in his strength in addition to his medical practices. You may find yourself attached to some while questioning the origin or story of the others. The art is 7 out of 10. There are both medical and martial art portions of the manhwa, and I don't think it excels in either really. The art's primary focus is being the vehicle in which to tell the story of Jin Chon-hui, and it achieves it adequately. Overall, if you're a fan of both medical and Muram genres and want something that is able to mix both of them together without losing its identity, then Doctor's Rebirth should be next on your to-read list. Our next manhwa is The Sweet Life of a Reincarnation Pro, a reincarnation manhwa, surprise surprise, that I've currently read up to chapter 75 on. Its main character is Arl, the youngest prince of the Indonesia kingdom. As the title of the manhwa suggests, this isn't Arl's first rodeo. After living so many lives and reincarnations, Arl's only goal now is to live out his life being as lazy as possible. Of course, this requires money and not having responsibility. And so, with this life of being the youngest prince, he has quite the head start already. The story is 7 out of 10. Errol sets out to ensure his fortune so he can be free from any worries while being lazy as the youngest prince. This, of course, turns out to be harder than it looks. One thing that I did appreciate though is while it is his goal to become lazy, when it's people that he cherishes that are in trouble, all bets are off and he puts in all of his effort to make sure they are safe and well. The characters are 7 out of 10 as well. While Errol is the epitome of laziness, that isn't the same for others around him. For the people who are around Errol, I appreciate that they flesh out their characters to the extent that they have so far. The art is the same as the others, also 7 out of 10. The aspect that I like the most about its art though is the world that it portrays in the back while Errol and the others live in it. It makes me think about how the society of this world lives. The Sweet Life of a Reincarnation Pro is a manhwa that is worth a look if you're a fan of the reincarnation genre, but would like a less intense goal for the main character while having some world-building aspects to it. I Don't Want to Work is our next manhwa to take a look at. It's a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 45 on. The main character of I Don't Want to Work is Lottie, a princess who remembers the memories of her previous life. The catch? All of her past lives have been in the same world, with the goal of creating the elusive elixir for the gods. At this point though, she's tired of having to chase this goal for so many years through so many lives that she chooses instead to just not do anything and uses her status as a princess to live in affluence. Of course, this doesn't go her way. The story is 7 out of 10. Lottie's task that was given by the gods is an interesting one as it begs the question, why her? Yes, she's an alchemist, but she can't be the only one, right? In addition, all of her lives being in one world also brings up another point. What about all of the people she had an influence on? There's a lot of pending questions after the initial introduction of the story. The characters are 8 out of 10. Lottie's character is an interesting one, but seeing the world she inhabits continue to go through the passage of time is quite a perspective. And the people she ends up having an effect on also gives a sense of accomplishment through her previous lives. The art is 7 out of 10. It emanates a somewhat slice of life story to it, but there are ominous undertones that seem to be in the background as Lottie lives her current life. If you're a fan of the reincarnation genre, but wonder what it would be like if the main character kept reincarnating in the same world while having an alchemy background, then put I Don't Want to Work on your to-read list. Our next manhwa is I'm Going to Be the Child Actor in This Life, an acting manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 38. Its main character is Kang Soo-hyun, a person who did not have great success with anything but found passion and some success in acting later in life. After a visit with the notorious truck in most stories, he wakes up as his 5-year-old self. With the passion he found in his first life, Soo-hyun now approaches his second chance with that fulfillment in mind. The story is 7 out of 10. Soo-hyun's passion for acting is commendable, and it's something that he really enjoys doing, and it shows through his approach. Both his parents and his support system allow for the now child actor to take center stage. The characters are 7 out of 10. With the chapters I've read so far, I'm impressed with the variety of roles that Soo-hyun has involved himself in. This gives off a potential for many roles for Soo-hyun to play in the future as well. The art is 7 out of 10 as well. The overall atmosphere is very light and pleasant, and there isn't too many stakes on the table other than the success of each of Soo-hyun's projects. I do like the set pieces that they brought out to flesh out Soo-hyun's acting though. If you're a fan of the acting genre and want more of the same, but curious about how it might look like if it was instead a child actor, then I'm Going to Be the Child Actor in This Life is a for sure pickup. Our last manhwa for today is The Villainess Just Wants to Live in Peace, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 8 on. The main character is Thanasia Brelov, the older sister of twins in a fantasy romance novel where she was the jealous villainess. Of course, this Thanasia is a reincarnated individual who read the contents of that novel and knows her eventual outcome if she doesn't change. With the fear of a potential looming death over her, Thanasia now takes steps to prevent the future she knows of. The potential is 8 out of 10. Thanasia's early actions and attitude is a refreshing sight compared to the original and somewhat typical jealous villainous characters. Her couldn't-care-less attitude as well as her approach to her family and associates leave a lot of room for development. The art is also 8 out of 10. The early showcases of these chapters give a pretty aesthetic to the world at large. I suspect it to be a fantasy historical setting filled with nobles, magic, and the associated social world regarding those that have gifts and those that don't. I'm curious to see Thanasia's actions moving forward as I've only read a small amount of chapters. I'm hopeful for The Villainess Just Wants to Live in Peace and will give my thoughts on its later chapters in a future episode. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Write in the comment section down below what manga and manhwa you've been reading and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.